Hi everyone, so for today we'll be working on a solution for week 7, movies. For this problem set, we're given movies.db, which is a database that stores data from IMDb about movies, the people who directed them, starred in them, and their ratings. So let's run SQLite 3 movies.db so that we can begin executing queries on the database. So you can see here there are actually 5 tables here that we have, which is movies, stars, directors, ratings, and people. And we're given information about the fields and information that we have from each table. So what do we need to do? We need to write SQL queries to answer a variety of different questions by selecting data from one or more of these tables. So our response must take the form of a single SQL query, and we can nest other queries inside of this. So let's take a look at the tables that we are given, and notice that for each table, it highlights primary keys and foreign keys. The table with the primary key is the parent table, so that would be movies and people. On the other hand, the foreign key refers to the primary key in another table, and this is what you will use to join tables together, and we will cover this in detail later. So firstly, in the table movies, you can see that the primary key is the ID, whereas in the tables for stars, directors, and ratings, there is a foreign key called movie_ID, which references to the ID field within the movies table. So this means that the movie ID field can be used to connect these tables to the parent table called movies. Likewise, notice that in the table called people, the ID is the primary key. In the tables stars and directors, there is a foreign key called person ID, which references to the ID field within the person table. So this means that the person ID field can be used to connect these tables to the parent table called people. So from this illustration alone, you can see that we can start to have an idea about how we can connect these tables together to obtain the data that we need. So what do we need to do? We are given 13 SQL queries that we need to write, so let's go through it one by one before we put it all in our program. So firstly, we need to write a SQL query that lists the titles of all movies released in 2008. So for this, we simply need information from the title field from movies. So our query will simply be select title from movies where year equals to 2008. Next, we want to determine the birth year of Emma Stone. This means that we need information from the birth field from people. We are also informed that we can assume that there is only one person in the database called Emma Stone. So the SQL query will be select birth from people where name equals to Emma Stone. Next, we want to list the title of all the movies with a release date on or after 2018 in alphabetical order. So what we need is information from the title field from movies. And not only do we need the information, but we also need to sort this information into alphabetical order. So our SQL query will be select title from movies where the year equals to or greater than 2018. And we will sort this by using order by title in ascending order as such. Okay. Next, we want to determine the number of movies with an IMDb rating of 10. So you can see that we actually need to count the number of ratings that equal to 10. So we actually just need to take reference to the rating field of the ratings table. So for the SQL query, we just need to write select count rating from ratings, where basically I just want to count the number of ratings where the rating given equals to 10. And then we'll give you the number of movies with an IMDb rating of 10. Next, we want to list the titles and release years of all Harry Potter movies in chronological order. So the additional given information is that we should retrieve the title and release year of each movie, and the title of all Harry Potter movies begins with the words Harry Potter. So you can see that we need to take reference to the title and year fields from the movies table. So our SQL query will be select year and title from movies, where title would be like Harry Potter, with this % sign at the back, which is used to find movies that start with Harry Potter. And we will order these by the year in ascending order as such. Next, we want to find a SQL query to determine the average rating of all movies released in 2012. So we should return a single column and row that just contains the average rating. And you can see that we need the year information from the movies table and rating from the ratings table. So how do we combine these together? Remember that we have our primary and foreign key, where movies ID is the field that connects both tables together, and we will do so using join. So when we join these two tables together using the key, this will be the table that you get, where the columns from the movies table and the columns from the ratings table are joined together as such. So from there, we can actually extract the year and rating information to find our average. So our SQL query will be select average rating from movies, and we will join the tables using join ratings on movies ID equals to ratings.movie ID. So essentially what you're doing here is that you're combining both tables by matching the movies ID to the movie ID in the ratings table. Okay, so that's how you actually put them together based on this common field that they have. And then after that, you will say where year equals to 2012. And that's how you find the average rating of all movies released in 2012. Next, we want to list all movies released in 2010 and their ratings in descending order by rating. And in the additional information given, they said that we need one column for the title and one column for the rating. So you can see here again, we actually need to take reference to the movie and rating table. So we will join them together as such, where we have columns from the movies table and columns from the ratings table. So now, as per our SQL query, it will be select title and rating from movies. And then we will join these ratings together by matching their common fields. So that will be movies ID to ratings movie ID, where year equals to 2010. And then we will order them by their ratings in descending order. And after that, we will order them by the titles alphabetically. Okay? And this is what the SQL query will look like. So now we've actually worked on 7 SQL queries so far. So let's put this in our program. So starting with SQL 1, what we'll do is that we will select title from movies where year equals to 2008. So now let's run this and see what we get. Opening up the output file that I just did. And yep, there you go. So these are all the movies that we have that was released in 2008. Next, moving on to the second one, we need to determine the birth year of Emma Stone. Right, so now we will just select birth from people where the name equals to Emma Stone. Okay, so now let's save this and let's find out what was her birth year. Opening up the output file, it will be 1988. Now let's move on to the third one. We want to list the titles of all movies with a release date on or after 2018 in alphabetical order. So we'll select title from movies where year equals to or is greater than 2018, and we will order by the title in ascending order. Now let's run this. Open up the output file. And yep, that will be all the files that we have with a release date of on or after 2018. Next, we want to determine the number of movies with an IMDb rating of 10. So we will actually count the number of ratings from the ratings table where the rating equals to 10. So again, let's open the output file. And there will be 23. Okay, moving on. Now we want to list the titles and release date of all Harry Potter movies in chronological order. So we will select the year and title from movies where the title starts with Harry Potter, and we'll put a % sign here as we discussed earlier on. And then after that, we will order by year that it was released in ascending order. So let's run this and let's check our output file. And yep, there you go, in ascending order. Next, we want to determine the average rating of all movies released in 2012. So we'll just select the average rating from movies where the year. But now we'll join the ratings on movies first, because remember we need to combine both tables together. And then where the year is equals to 2012. So let's run this. Opening the output file that we have, and the average rating is as such. Next, what we want to do is to list all movies released in 2010 and their ratings in descending order by rating. So we'll select title and rating from movies. And again, because we need to take the reference to the movies and rating table, we will join the tables first. After that, we will say where year equals to 2010. And we will order by ratings first, and after that, alphabetically by title. So that's what it looks like. Let's open our file. And yeah, so that would be how we actually list all movies released in 2010 and their ratings in descending orders. Okay? So that would be that for the first 7 SQL queries that we need to write. Now, if you found this to be helpful, do remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll greatly appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up as well. This really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and it will bump up this video for others who might be looking for a walkthrough for this problem set as well. So moving on now, let's move on to the next 8 queries that we have. So moving on to the 8th one, we need to list the names of all people who start in Toy Story, and we are told that we can assume that there's only one movie in the database with the title Toy Story. So what we actually need to do is to take reference to the title field from movies and name from people. So to do that, we actually need to join these tables together using the stars table, where people and stars can be joined together using the person ID field, and stars and movies can be joined together using the movie ID field. So our SQL query will be select name from people, and we will first join stars to people table using the people ID as the key that we need to join them. And after that, we will join stars to movies together using the movie ID as the key. And then we want to filter where the movie title equals to Toy Story. And that is how you find the names of all people who start in Toy Story. Next, we want to list the names of all people who start in a movie released in 2004, ordered by the birth year. So the additional information given is that if a person appeared in more than one movie in 2004, they should only appear in the results once. So this means we need to avoid duplicates. So again, we need to take reference to name in people and year in movies. And we need to use the stars table to link the IDs together. So now what will our SQL query look like? We will select distinct name from people, and selecting distinct means that you are avoiding duplicates. Then after that, you will join the stars table to people table, and you will join the movies table to the stars table. Right, and then now we want to sort by where movie year equals to 2004, and we will order by people's birth year in ascending order. Okay? Next, we want to list the names of all people who have directed a movie that received a rating of at least 9.0. And again, we are told to make sure that there are no duplicates in the names that we list. So in this case, we need to list the names of directors who directed movies of a certain rating. So we will join ratings, directors, and the people tables together to get the information that we need. And we will use the ID fields to actually do so. So again, what happens, our SQL query will look a little bit similar to what we've just done. So first, we will select distinct name from people, and we will join the directors table to the people table first. Then we will join the movies table, followed by the ratings table. And after that, we'll need to filter out where rating is greater or equals to 9.0. Next, we want to list the title of the 5 highest rated movies in order that Chadwick Boseman starred in, starting with the highest rated. So in this case, we can see that we need the movie title sorted by ratings that Chadwick Boseman starred in. So this requires information from 4 different tables, and we will need to join all these together using the keys that we have. So we'll select the title from movies, and we will first join the ratings table using the movie ID, and then we'll join stars to the rating table, followed by people to the stars table, and that will be how we will find out where people's name equals to Chadwick Boseman. Then we will order ratings in descending order, and we will limit it to the top 5 that we have. Next, we want to list the titles of all movies in which Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter starred in. So we need the information in the movies and people table, and do note that in this case, we need movies where both Johnny Depp and Helena starred in. So if we were to put this into a Venn diagram, you can see that we need the intersect. So what would this look like in our SQL query? So what we can actually do is to first extract the titles of movies that Johnny Depp starred in, and out of all these titles, we will extract only those where the titles appear in the list of movies that Helena Bonham Carter starred in as well. So we first start by extracting titles that Johnny Depp starred in, And then we'll compare this with the list of titles that Helena Bonham Carter start in, and we will extract only what overlaps. So what will our SQL query look like? It will be, first we will select title from movies. So we'll need to join the stars table and the people table together. And then we'll say where people's name equals to Johnny Depp. Okay, so now what we have is the list of titles in which Johnny Depp start in. Okay, and we will take the intersect. So we will use and this title also exists in the list of movies that Helena start in. Right, so this title will exist in the list that Helena start in. So that will be select title from movies. And again, we need to join the stars and people table together. And in this case, it would be where the person's name equals to Helena Bonham Carter. So that is how you are first extracting the titles that Johnny Depp appeared in, and then overlapping it with the list of movies that Helena starred in, and that will be how you get the list of movies that both of them appeared in. Okay? Lastly, we want to list the names of all people who starred in a movie in which Kevin Bacon also starred in. So what we are told is that there might be multiple people named Kevin Bacon in the database, so we only want to select the Kevin Bacon that was born in 1958. And Kevin Bacon himself should not be included in the resulting list. So this means we will need to remove him later on. Okay? So in this case again, we need to take reference to the movie stars and people table. And we'll need to make reference to the title and the name fields of these tables here. So what will our SQL query look like? We'll select distinct name from people and we will join the stars table followed by the movies table together. Okay? And then now what we want to do is that we want to extract where movies ID would be the list of movies that Kevin Bacon starred in. So now what we need to do is that we need to filter out the list of movies that Kevin Bacon appeared in. So we will only want to select movies where the name equals to Kevin Bacon and the person's birth year is 1958. So what you're doing now is that you're extracting the list of movies that Kevin Bacon appeared in. Okay? Then now what you're doing is that you're extracting the name of people who starred in movies where their movie ID equals to the movie IDs that Kevin Bacon starred in. Okay? And finally, do remember that you do not want Kevin Bacon to be in the resulting list. So then, the person's name does not equals to Kevin Bacon. Okay? And that will be your last SQL query that you need to write. So now let's finish this up in our program. So first, to list the names of all people who start in Toy Story, we will select name from people. Then we will join the tables together. Then now we'll filter where movie title equals to Toy Story. Now let's save and run this. Okay, and these are the people that we have. Now moving on, what we want to do is to list the names of all people who starred in a movie released in 2004, ordered by birth year. So we will actually select distinct names from people. We'll join the tables that we need. Then now, what we want to do after joining is to filter them out, where the year the movie was released in is 2004, and we will order them by birth year. Let's check this. Okay, these are the people that we have. Moving on, what we want to do is to list the names of all people who have directed a movie that received a rating of at least 9.0. So we will select distinct name from people, and then we will join our 4 tables together. So first we'll join directors using the person ID. Then we will join movies using the movie ID. Then we will join ratings on the movie ID. Now we will filter out where the movie rating is greater than or equals to 9.0. Oops, this one should be 10 instead. Let's rewrite that. Open up the output file, and these are the people that we are looking for. Next, we want the titles of the 5 highest rated movies in order that Chadwick Boseman starred in, starting with the highest rated. So now what we'll do is that we'll select title from movies, then we will join our tables together, starting with the ratings table to movies, followed by stars to movies. And then after that, by people to the stars table. Now we will filter where the person's name equals to Chadwick Boseman. And we will order by ratings in descending order. And we will limit to the top 5 that we want. Let's test it out. And these are the top 5 that we have. Next, we want to list the title of all movies in which Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter star in. So again, we will list title from movies, and first we'll join the tables. So remember, what we want to do first is that we will look at the list of movies that Johnny Depp starred in. So it will be where the name equals to Johnny Depp. And then now we want what overlaps with movies that Helena Bonham Carter starred in. So the title will also need to appear in movies. Right? So we join the tables first. So we will select title from movies. Where the name also equals to Helena Bonham Carter. Okay, so this is how you get an intersect. So let's save this, let's run this, and let's see what's our output file. And these are the movies that we have. Moving on to the last one, we want the names of all people who starred in the movie in which Kevin Bacon also starred in. So we'll select distinct names from people first, and then we'll connect our tables together. So we need to connect stars based on the person ID. Then we will connect movies based on the movie ID. Right, and we want names from people that appear in a specific movie ID, where this movie ID is based on movies that Kevin Bacon starred in. So what are the movies that Kevin Bacon starred in? So this is what we're looking for now. So we'll join the tables first. Now we'll say where the name equals to Kevin Bacon. And remember, besides Kevin Bacon, we also just want it to be the one where the birth year equals to 1958. Right, and now that we have the name list, remember we need to remove Kevin Bacon. So we'll say and the name does not equals to Kevin Bacon. So let's run this. And let's open our output file. And these are the names of people that we are looking for. Okay, so now let's validate all that we have worked on. So let's just run check 50 on this. Now it wants our personal access token. So now let's let it run. And here are our results. You can see that number 1 to 13 all produces correct results. And there you go. So this is the walkthrough for week 7 movies. So if you found this video to be helpful, do remember to like and subscribe to the channel, as this really helps the YouTube algorithm to bump this up. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.